or revised, you still love someone wholeheartedly or over the board, it becomes so attached that none of them is at ease. And there is a saying in the West that what is it? The road to heaven is paved with good intentions. It happens all the time. Yes?
Just the second one, knowing is easy. Second, I didn't get it. And the thinking is the difficult. What's the middle one?
Well, will is one, all right? Two is thought. So this is what the Buddha said. Okay, and actually this is the two initial steps of the Eightfold Noble Path. Have you heard of that? Some of you may and some of you may not. All right, so all our life we have to upgrade and revise this. And this is knowing, knowledge. All right, you come here because you want to know what is Buddhism. You know, what are these guys and these nuns talking about? What are they going to give me? What can I learn that I do not know today? That's here. And once you know, you learn, you contemplate and say, does it make sense? Is he talking nonsense? Or is that logical? And if you think it is, then go deep to understand it, and it becomes your revised will. But that is not enough. Right? Knowing will change your thought. This is important. How do you sing in to make it yours? So, for example, knowing smoking is bad, right? Knowing drinking is bad, or knowing drug is bad, or knowing sexual misconduct is bad, knowing fooling around is bad. How do we change it? It has to sink in and becomes a habit. And I think all the saints and all the great guys before us, they are going through the same steps. All right? So you first learn, you contemplate, and then you have to change your habit. And if you don't change your habit or your behavior, that's hopeless. That means you'll keep making the same karma as you always have. So far, so good? This is one major distinction between Christianity and Buddhism, or Islam and Buddhism, all right? Because Buddhism said karma or karmic action or karmic force will always stay with you until the right conditions. It's not a single condition, it's a number of conditions. When they surface, then your karma will be kind of neutralized. All right? And we will go into that. Before I continue, I got to ask a question. Do you want to go through the whole class talking, or do you want to maintain certain time for questioning and or group discussion? What do you think, Greg or Martin? Keep going. Okay, all right. But I still would reserve a few, maybe 10 minutes for questioning, or what? Okay. With the last 10 minutes, I was already requested by Venerable Man Yi to reserve for her. All right, but she told me for whatever reason, I don't know. All right. Yes, Bob.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'm Chinese. I just want to know how to say what's
the Chinese name? Kongji.
Oh,
Kongji. Okay.
Excuse me?
Okay.
Miss Lee, excuse
I
me.
think there's a question here.
We can't hear the question, so
Yes.
all we're getting back here is the answer. If you could repeat the question that they asked you so we can get the full answer.
Oh, okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, she,
It's confusion.
Bob was asking what is the Chinese name for the big teacher in China, Confucius. All right?
it's
Stephanie. You got it, Stephanie?
Pardon?
You got that?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, yeah. Good. Stephanie always wants to link Chinese with English, which is good. So is Sheila. Excellent. Okay. So, now I think what I like to do is go through a process of birth and death. And by then, or by that, we can kind of link to the various kinds of karma. Because karma is such a complex and intricate subject. And it is like a universal net, right, that collects all the goods and the bads, all right, that connects not only your own mentality, but also with the others. For example, if I did something bad to you, all right, and somewhere, somehow, it's not only me, but you also, all right, and all the people around you, you may relate to, you may link to, I may have spoken to, they are all linked together, all right? So if I want to reset that karma, I've got to come back to you and resolve it. So I said, I'm so sorry, I did something wrong. Here is the money I stole from you, right? So, and you said, okay, Jesse, you are forgotten, you are silly, and I don't know why you did it, but you repent, good. So it's off, right? However, if you said, no, I don't forgive you, well, that's her problem now, not mine. Because I have offset my karmic force, but she carries the grudge, right? And that's why forgiveness is so important. It's so powerful. Because if you don't, you carry the grudge in your mind. You hate someone so much, right? So you hate me so much, I don't even know about it, all right? But you will be so unhappy because you carry that karmic force with you. But that force stays with you. It's not with me. Okay? I am already gone. All right? Good. So, no, that's okay, Andrew. Yeah. When you die, at the moment of death, there is a type of karma that leads you to rebirth. And we call that karma, where's the pen? Oh, there, thank you. We call that karma is a leading karma, L-E-A-D. Right? And that leading karma actually will guide you. Actually, guide is not the right word. Will attract, there will be a mutual force of attraction. It will attract you to a place, to a family, to the parents that you are supposed to be reborn. Right? So, mind you, not always as humans. Depends what you have done. All right? So there will be a weight or gravity depending on what you have done. So if you have killed, or if you are, or were, let's say if I were Hitler, all right, and there's no way that I will be reborn as a human. I will then be reborn in hell somewhere and suffer for a long, long time. So gravity of the karma plays an important part. Okay? And if you have been a good man or just a normal person, you haven't been good, haven't been bad, right? You have not done make serious mistakes or hurt people, then your habitual karma will take effect. Meaning that whatever your habit is, it will surface at the point of your death. Let's say if you pray to God, you pray to Buddha all the time, or you meditate, fine. That will either lead you to born in heaven or reborn as a human being. So this depends, leading depends on this too, all right? That will give you the realms of existence. Meaning that will you be born as a dog, as a cat, as a human, or in heaven, or in hell. Right? So it leads you there. And the leading, of course, depends on the weight and the habit. Yes?
Is that kind of a priority you have them listed in, so the weight, gravity would always come into play first?
Definitely. Definitely. No doubt about it. And that's why in Buddhism we always encourage the loved ones of a deceased not to cry or to upset him or upset her in the process of death. Right? Because that is the time that that sick person really needs all the peace he or she wants. Right? If you cry or if you do something that upsets his peace or her peace, then something else will take place. Then all the anger, the hatred will surface, and that will lead him to, instead of being born as the son of Bill Gates, he or she will be born also as a son, but somewhere in Afghanistan. All right. Okay. Yes.
Sorry, could you describe the realms a little bit? Like, what do you mean when you say heaven? Sorry.
All right. Well, Buddhism.
What do you mean when you say heaven and hell and then the realms?
All right, the realms.
Yeah.
The life forces or life force will reincarnate in one of the 6 realms. All right, humans, animals, heaven, hell, yes, ghosts, right? And then the last one is Asura, which is a layer between heaven and earth. Okay, so in brief, all right, so we can talk for days for that, but we don't have time. Okay, so these are the 6 levels where life, as we know it, or as Buddhists know it, exists, which is, of course, not the same as other religions. All right, so Buddhists will always say that life runs in a circle, not a straight line. Not that God created us, and then at the end, you will either end up in heaven or hell, and that's the end of it, unless God changes his will. All right? He said, now I want to create something else that's different, but not Buddhism. Yes?
So going to heaven or hell does not last forever.
No, it will not last forever. You will be there to pay for what you have done wrong, and when you suffer enough, if you are in hell, you probably will reincarnate back as a dog or a cat, right? Or a mosquito, depending on your karma. Yes.
For the new students, the 6 realms are listed in the glossary in the back of your book, just so that you can check. A quick look.
All right, so this determines where you go. All right? Yes?
Just one more question, Jesse, sorry. Could you please explain for the non-Buddhists or the people who don't believe in the 6 realms, is that teaching useful to those students?
Okay. Well, in Buddhism, there is no creationism. There's no creator. All right? So the life force is nature. Nature is always there. There's no beginning and no end. And nature does not deliberately design like God. All right? That's it. So we all evolve because the right conditions are there. All right? So, for example, since you asked that question, there are so many things we can talk about, but so little time. You know when our universe started? Well,
13.6.
Actually, you just got upgraded this week to 15.8.
excellent.